Hi, everyone. I am Leah Craig-Chatterton. I am the incoming district trainer. Welcome to your AGE's orientation session. We have, I think everyone's familiar with Zoom, so I won't go too much into the Zoom protocols, except if you are not speaking, please keep your mic on mute. And when you wish to speak, please raise your hand so that we can identify you and allow you to speak. Also, as we know, we want to have a respectful session and allow persons who are speaking to have the floor and wait until they are finished for us to make our points. I now invite District Governor-elect Brian Glasgow to offer words of welcome to you and open this session. Over to you, DGE Brian.
Thank you, incoming district trainer Leah, and good afternoon to everyone else. Good to see DG here as well. DGN was in, she had to leave, and DGN designate is also here. So welcome to everyone and welcome to all the members of the training committee. This will be brief, just to thank all of the incoming AGs for accepting their role. This is going to be a great journey together. And I think we all look forward to working with each other. And thanks so much to the hardworking district training team for putting this together. Over the next few weeks, we'll be working together with the district training team to prepare ourselves for our incoming roles on the 1st of July. So I know there's going to be an icebreaker in a couple minutes. I'm really looking forward to that, to really get to know each of you a lot better. So back to you, and once again, thanks to all of the incoming AGs.
Thank you so much, DGE Brian, for that brief welcome. You're right on target.
2 minutes.
And we didn't even have a timer. That's great. So as DGE indicated, we will now go into our icebreaker. It's essentially just an introduction of sorts with a little twist. As AGs, you will not only have to liaise with your team, your club teams and the district teams, but with each other as well. So this is a good opportunity now to get to know each other as we go through this journey. So I'm going to invite everyone to introduce themselves. When you introduce yourself, you have to say your name, just your first name, that's fine, your club and country, and then let us know why you agreed to be AG if it's your first term, or why you continue as AG if it's your second or third term. And we will start off with Aruba, Mr. Frederick Nuba. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes, it's Nubur. That is difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you, yes. Frederick, let's start with you.
Yes, so my name is Frederick Nuboer. I'm from Aruba. We have one club in Aruba, Rotary Club of Aruba. And this is my first time as AG. I'm excited on participating in this team.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Frederick. And why did you accept the invitation to serve as AG?
I want to be more part of the district. I want to learn more about the ins and outs of the district. And I would want to be the bridge between our club and the district.
Great answer. If we were grading, you would get A++. Okay, next we have Stephen. Thank you so much, Friedrich.
Yes, my name is Stephen Chinaji. I'm also a first-timer for this new function of assistant governor. And I'm from Suriname. We have 4 Rotary clubs in Suriname. And of course, Rotary clubs and Interact clubs. And why I will support this is because I want to support the district governor-elect Brian for having a great and memorable year.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Stephen. We now move on to Jean-Marc.
Hi, hello, my name is Jean-Marc. I'm from Martinique. That's the second year I will be AG. In Martinique, we have 8 Rotary clubs and 2 Interact clubs also, and 1 Rotary club. And it was so passionate, so nice to be for the first year AG with DG Leslie. It was natural to be a second year AG because it's very interesting job to do.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. We now move on to Liz.
I think you mean Lise.
Lise, thank you so much for that correction. Lise.
Well, no, I will give you a little explanation. You did well by trying to pronounce my name as it should be written in Dutch, L-I-E-S, and it would be Lies. And therefore, I changed it the moment I set foot in Dominica in L-I-S-E, because I don't like it to called Lies. So therefore, I changed my name. So you are in a way correct, but I put it now as L-I-S-E, and then it would be Lise or Lise. So I introduced myself already, Lise from the Rotary Club in Portsmouth in Dominica. Well, we have 2 clubs. The other club is the Rotary Club of Dominica in Roseau. I'm very happy also to be able to be closer to the district. As Frederick and Steve already said, I'm also seeing that at least 2 of the first people that I see passing by, I know. I accepted the position. I had my doubt first if I really were ready for this, but I think it's a good opportunity to finally be also closer to a Rotary Act and an Interact club, but the club where I am now member of doesn't have yet. So maybe I can learn and show our club a little bit more how we might be able to finally do it ourselves. And I think it's also an honor for our club, who is now exists almost 10 years, to have an AG coming out of our club.
Fantastic. Great job, Brian. First time AG from Rotary Club of Portsmouth. We should give you a prize. We move on to Bantu. You're up next.
Good day, everyone. So I'm Bantu Campbell from the Rotary Club of St. Vincent South. That's in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's my first time being AG, and why I really accepted the role, I look forward to bringing the Rotary Club of St. Vincent as well as the Rotary Club of Kingston with our club to bring the clubs closer together, to work together to bring about Rotary synergy, and also to be the bridge between our clubs and the district.
That's amazing. I love to hear that. Okay, now we move on to Betty Ann. Betty Ann, you're still muted.
Sorry. Thank you. Sorry about that. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marty Ann Whiteman-Skinner. I am from the Club of St. Augustine West, that's in Trinidad and Tobago. It's my first time as AG, and I'm looking forward to knowing more about the district, to add value and cohesiveness with the clubs in the district, and to be a pillar to support DGE Brian.
Fantastic. You sound like you're well on your way.
Thank you.
Let's hear from you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Diana Brown. I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Antigua Sundown. If you're hearing noise, I'm actually on my way home, so I'm in traffic. I hope I don't get in an accident, and I hope I don't get fined from the police. But this is my first time being AG. In Antigua, we have 2 Rotary clubs, 1 Rotary club and 5 Interact clubs. And other than the present, DG told me I didn't have a choice, I had to accept. I look forward to serve. Rotary is something that I'm very passionate about. And I hope that, you know, for the year, I can really make a change and bring our Rotaract, Interact, and Rotary clubs together. And I look forward to working with everyone on the team.
Thanks so much, Diana. It's a good thing we don't have a Saj in this session because DGE would be fined for his behavior. Okay, we move on to Nish. Let's hear from you, please.
Yeah. Hi, I'm also driving, but I didn't want to miss the meeting. I am Nisha Harry from the Rotary Club of Felicity, Charleville, and I'm honored to even, you know, when I was asked, of course, I was honored to be a part of this. What contribution can I make? I would say the greatest contribution is really teamwork and team effort at all levels. So there's that connection, there's that interconnectedness, and of course that collaborative effort that can move mountains, as we say, lift even one pebble together, you know, and with togetherness and collaboration and teamwork, I think everything else, you know, would unearth in terms of productivity, in terms of Rotary goals, in terms of promoting everything with the district and the clubs, interactors, Rotaractors. And of course, I'm proud to be a part of our new incoming DG Brian. So I thank you all for this, and I look forward to working with everyone. Thank you. Yeah.
Thanks so much, Nish. And I have to commend you and Diana for your commitment of joining, even though you're braving the traffic storms. That is a very, very good sign. So we know we have some really dedicated AGEs on their way. Let's head on over to Trinidad again, and we'll hear from Giselle.
Hey, hi, everyone. Sorry, I have no camera. I could put it on, but you still may not see me because I don't know how to work the light in this room. I'm in. So you'll get a silhouette, I guess, with me.
We can see you perfectly.
You see what says me then? Oh my God. Okay, fine. So good evening again. I'm Giselle. I'm coming in at the second year for AG for the North clubs in Trinidad and Tobago. I didn't know you had a choice in terms of continuing, so it's good to know now. But even though I'm glad I'm here, I'm actually sharing my year with Veronica. She couldn't be on right now, but she's from the Rotary Club of Port St. West. We're trying something new here where hopefully she will transition into the role after me. So we're going to have a wonderful year together, supporting our incoming team, working, of course, with DG Brian and with all you lovely folks. So glad to be here and, you know, happy to help however I could. Thanks.
Amazing. I love that initiative, Giselle. Let's move on to Liz.
Hi, good evening all, DG Brian and all the other DGs on the line, past, present, and future. Liz Cox from the Rotary Club of Garden City. It's my second year. I can't say that my first year I got to really get into the real role of AG because I was stretched across several lines. Now this year it's just AG. So I am certainly looking forward to assisting Brian in his role as district governor and certainly by extension, the clubs, all the clubs in Guyana. So happy to be here to be part of this team.
Great. Thank you so much, Liz. I can attest to one of the lines that you were across in this year. And we know you did exceptionally well. So I know Leslie has no complaints whatsoever with you serving as his AG. So even though you may feel that you may not have lived up to the role fully, have no fear, you did. We are missing a few persons. We're missing Julian from Tobago. We're also missing Brian from Trinidad South. We're missing St. Lucia, Albert Daniels, and we are missing Guadeloupe, Joanne Eugene Adolphe, Grenada, Steve George, and French Guiana, Armand. Oh, we're also missing Barbados, Paul Ashby. So if anyone on here knows any of those persons and you want to shoot them a nice little reminder message to say, oh, Armand is coming in. I guess I sent that telepathically and he got on. But if anyone wants to reach out to those who are not on and just give them a little nudge, we will welcome them. Quickly, we'll just go to the PDGs that are on. Just quickly introduce yourself for anyone who may not recognize you. Just say your name. That's it, just to identify who you are as a PDG. Okay, we'll start with Sonia because she has no voice, so we have to get her before it goes completely.
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Sonia Aline, immediate past district governor, located in Barbados. Sorry for the voice today.
I can send you some rum. Okay, PDG Lyle.
Hi, Lyle from St. Lucia, Rotary Club of Grosley. That's about it.
Thank you, Lyle. And I also saw DGND on. Is she back on?
No, she
Hi.
left because she was driving somewhere else. DGND, is that
DGND, yes, Soraya, okay.
Oh yeah, that's Soraya, sorry.
Hi, good evening, Soraya here, everyone. Happy to be a part of this. Thank you.
Great, thank you all for coming. I am Leah, as I said. I am also acting as AG for the upcoming year. This will be my second year as AG, and why I chose to continue, because Brian asked me, and I think like Giselle said, you know, not saying yes was not an option. So I don't know how to say no when it comes to things with Rotary. That may be good or bad, but I think either way, it is something that we can all attest to. Okay, so we will move. Thank you. Oh, you have, okay, thanks for that. Thanks for that, Giselle. Welcome, Armand, that's fine. We were just doing introductions, so I'll let you come on and say your name, your club and country, and why you decided to continue as AG for another year.
Good evening, all. Je m'appelle Armand Otegnour, je suis AG de Guyane française, où nous avons 6 clubs, 5 clubs Rotary et 1 club Rotarat. J'ai accepté suite à la demande de DGE Brian, parce que c'est un honneur pour moi. Et ce sera la 3e année que j'officierai en tant que AG, après avoir été celui de PDG Sonia et DG Leslie. Voilà.
Okay, so thank you. That was our mini icebreaker and introduction session.
Leah, I think Paul just joined.
Pardon?
Paul would have just joined.
Oh, hi, Paul.
Paul Ashby.
Welcome. Quickly, just introduce yourself. Tell us your name, your club, your country, and why you agreed to serve as AG.
Sorry about that. Good evening. I couldn't find my unmute mic. I'm so very sorry. Sorry for being late. My name is Paul Ashby. I'm a member of the Rotary Club of Barbados. I have always had an interest in serving at the Rotary district level. I had an opportunity to serve as district secretary last year, and when the opportunity presented itself to serve at the level of AJ, I was eager to participate so I could be part of the continued regional growth and strength. So looking forward to the opportunity.
Great, thanks so much, Paul. Okay, I think we have the majority of persons on now, so we'll move into our next agenda item, which is a presentation given by myself on the roles and responsibilities of assistant governors. This presentation will be shared with you subsequently. We will have to get it translated. So right now it's only in English, but in order for everyone to benefit from it, we'll send it to get translated and you'll receive it after. So I'm asking you to bear with me for the lack of visuals on your screen and that you have to look at my face for the duration of this. We'll get straight into it. As assistant governor, you have one main role, which is to assist. It's right there in the name. And the two people or the two areas where you assist will be focused on one, the district's governor, clearly, again, right there in the name, and your clubs, your Rotary clubs, and your Rotaract clubs, your Interact clubs. As you know, you've been appointed by the DGE, and ideally you're supposed to motivate and support your clubs as much as possible. It's kind of ironic because we were speaking about not knowing that you can only serve one term, but typically the terms run for 1 year, but you can serve for a maximum of 3 consecutive years. So just a note for those who are serving for the first time or their second time. So we move into the responsibilities. In carrying out this role, your major role, which is assisting the governor and your clubs, your assigned clubs, there are a series or a set of responsibilities that fall within your purview. And they're in no specific order. We're just going to go through a few of them. This list is also not exhaustive. And on Thursday's session, we may actually come up with more when we do the discussion forum. So you have to meet with your president-elects and your secretary-elects, as well as your incoming boards, to assist them with their plans for the upcoming year. You want to do this as early as is practicable, because how you undertake your duty as an AG can critically affect the club, negatively or positively. And obviously, we want it to have a positive effect. So in many instances, having the appropriate time to plan out effectively without feeling rushed or pressured is the best scenario or best set of circumstances with which to interact with your clubs. You have to encourage your board members to utilize the Learning Center, to use their sessions to prepare for their roles. As AG, yes, you are expected to have a wealth of knowledge, but no one is a library, and everyone at the end of the day, as Rotarians, we are responsible and accountable for our own Rotary learning. So it is imperative to encourage and impress upon not just the board and the club leadership, but also your club's memberships to use the Rotary Learning Center. It is a free resource that we have that can teach us so much. So impressing that responsibility on them, especially the club leadership, is essential. And you may sound like a broken record, but that's fine if it helps them go to the Rotary Learning Center. Also, you have to go to the Rotary Learning Center. You can't send them there if you don't know what's there. And how you can help them get there is by sending them links to various sessions that you may have done and found useful. And then it helps them with their navigation as well. So that's something to bear in mind. Another responsibility is you have to ensure that your board is ready to serve for the Rotary year. So this is done through conducting onboarding sessions prior to the new year is best. However, under certain circumstances, sometimes that's not always the case. So you want to do that as early as possible into the new year. But please do not let July pass. If you have to do it over a series of sessions, that's fine as well. It doesn't have to be one long session, because you literally go through all of the roles of the club officers. And depending on the size of your board, which can range anywhere from 6 to upwards of 13 persons, that can take some time. especially if you're going into detail and you're having robust discussion. Next, you have to remind and ensure, not just remind, but ensure that the clubs pay their district dues and their RI dues when they become due. This is critical because if the time frame passes for payment, the club will then be terminated as a Rotary club under Rotary International if they don't pay their dues on time. If they don't pay the district dues, then they are robbing the district administration of much needed resources to help the district function adequately. And then we suffer because the district isn't functioning. Next, you have to encourage, and this is extremely important. You have to, I mean, they're all important, but this is of utmost importance. You have to encourage your club to input their club goals and club data on Rotary Club Central early, before the deadlines, especially their officer information, because once that deadline has passed, you then have to go through hoops to get the information updated. Currently, we have at least 40% of clubs in our district who have not updated their incoming officers. What that does, it creates a huge challenge for the incoming district team, and they're not able to communicate with the incoming officers to get them information that is essential for them to prepare for their roles. This then hinders the overall administration of clubs within the district. So it is of the utmost importance. If you have to harass them every single day that God sends, harass them. But it also means that you need to check to see if the updates are completed. So it's not just about saying, do your updates, do your updates, do your updates. You also have to visit Rotary Club Central and ensure that the updates are done. And if you don't see them, reminder, reminder, reminder. They also have to update. So a lot of clubs, they get on there in July and they put all of their goals, and then June 30th, they're scrambling to input all of the updates. And now that is because for district citations and president citations, the cutoff point is even earlier than June 30th in some instances. So then they have all of this pressure. If the system's down, which tends to be around that time because you have about 30-something thousand clubs on there trying to update their information. So you want to encourage them to do regular updates. So if they're going to have 4 projects in a month, as soon as they complete a project, remind them, have you updated? Have you updated? Oh, I checked, I didn't see that you updated. You only have 1 project, but you've done 2. Make sure you update it. It helps them, it saves them time in the long run. And it also makes it easier for when the DG is visiting. We'll deal with that aspect though when we get to your role as it relates to preparation for the district governor's visit. Next, you have to ensure, as AG, you have multiple clubs under you, especially in larger territories like Trinidad. So when you're reviewing the club's events, when you're going through their plans for the year with them, you want to look to ensure that there are no clashes. You can avoid clashes where possible, and even encourage collaboration as necessary. This is especially important when you, as AG, are required to be at this event. And as you know, you're just one person, you can't be in 2 places at one time. So things like installations, for example. If you have 3 clubs and they all choose July 7th as their installation date, and the AG has to be present to install the club members, then you can't go to all. You'd have to suggest that they change the dates, or ideally for you, that they all come together and just have one big installation. And that segues us into another role, another responsibility of yours. You have to induct your club officers come July into their roles as new club officers. Club visits are an essential responsibility of assistant governors. You have to make these visits regularly. Now, regularly is up to you. There is no set frequency. However, best practices dictate that you should at least visit your clubs once per quarter. Ideally, however, you'd want to visit more, but however you visit, it has to be consistent. So if you visit monthly, then visit monthly all the time. Don't visit in July and then they don't see you or hear from you again till February, and then you come back 3 times in February. You need to create a schedule and make it as consistent as possible, one that works not just for you, but for your clubs as well. I pressed the wrong button. Club visits can be virtual. No, as we've seen, they can be physical. I know lots of people prefer the physical, but either way, however you decide, understand that they are extremely vital. Can someone admit Julian, please? He's in the waiting room. Thank you. So the club visits allow you the opportunity to assess your clubs. You can then identify any challenges, identify issues. If you go regularly, then the likelihood of you catching issues and challenges at an earlier stage is higher. And then you get a better opportunity to address them appropriately. You also get to find out more about your clubs and identify best practices. And then these can be shared with other clubs that you see can benefit from using those best practices. You use your club visits as well to monitor and motivate your clubs, to help them achieve their goals. And if they're after any citations, whether it's president, zone, district, you as AG, when you do your visits, that's another thing you should be doing. However you motivate, you want to motivate positively, you want to encourage, and you want to promote a sense of assistance, not you don't do this and you need to do that, and not a scolding tone, but I'm here for you. How can I help you achieve your goals? How can I work with you to help you get to where you need to be? That approach, from my experience and experience of other AGs who I've spoken to, tends to work more so than the confrontational approach, because we know our people. Nobody likes confrontation. And if somebody comes at you in a certain way, typically you're going to respond in that way. So it's easier when you go to your clubs to go to them as a resource option, to go to them as a helper, to bridge any gaps they may be having. Social media is a great option when you can't get to your clubs physically, to keep updated with what they're doing, and you can use that as well to keep in touch with them and share ideas from one club to another to help again with the best practices. When you visit your clubs regularly, you can identify any conflict that needs to be resolved. And of course, if that conflict escalates or is beyond resolution from your end, this is where your next responsibility comes in, where you have to update the district governor regularly on what's happening in the club. Not just necessarily the club's goal status, which of course is imperative, but if you have any club issues that can possibly escalate to a point where it could tarnish the public image of Rotary, you'd want to get the district governor in as soon as is reasonably practicable for him or her to help resolve the issue. So all club progress should be, you should be keeping the district governor updated on this as time progresses, not just when they visit. So the DG's visit, yes, is super important, and that's one of the main times that the DG gets all of the information updated at that point, but it should not be the only time. They should be getting regular updates in order to deal with any challenges, or again, to identify any best practices or any benefits that clubs may derive from actions of other clubs. One of your responsibilities is also to serve as a liaison between the district, i.e. the district committees, the various committee chairs, and your clubs. So it's not just, your communication doesn't just go from club to DG and DG to club, but also district committees to club and club to district committees. So this includes things like sharing committee updates, sharing district events, encouraging your members to attend, sharing presentations if you may have attended a district event and your members didn't. That shouldn't deprive them of that information. Helping them with any requests for participation in district events. That we just had our recently concluded COP district project, which was excellent. I came 40 something, I don't know what happened. I demand a recount, but things like that, you as AG, you have to encourage your members as much as possible. When I say encourage, not just share it once or share it twice, you have to almost become the champion for that thing. As AG, you tend to, I know as human beings, we cherry pick. We have our favorites, we have things that we prefer. However, as AG, you have to prefer it all. There's no cherry picking. You have to be the champion for everything, for foundation, for COP, for anything, district conference, everything, training committee, every single committee, you have to be the champion for. It's almost as if you're the PRO for them all. So keep that in mind as you go through the year in your role. Other responsibilities, a major one, and the district governor always appreciates this one, is promoting and encouraging attendance at district conference. And of course, international conventions. I know the district has a convention committee that is very strong. They have an active chat where they keep updates and they share information on flights and hotels and activities. So as AG, it would be good, even if you may not be attending the conference or convention for whatever reasons, to join those groups and encourage your club members to either join or pass on the information so that they have access to it as well. Another critical responsibility is identifying and developing leadership within the club. And this then translates to promotion of service at district and international level. So what happens is, and some people complain about this, I'm still on the fence about whether it's a fair complaint or not, but they tend to see the same people at district level. Certainly in our district, that's a complaint that I've heard. But as AGs, one of your responsibility is to foster the development of your club membership so that you have a greater pool of persons to draw from for district service roles and even international service roles. That can take the form of mentorship, whether you do it yourself or you group them with older Rotarians, or whether in your club, another club, somewhere in the district, past district governors. But the idea is you have to be that link between creating making our leadership sustainable so that we always have a pool. It's not just about members. So we know we want to make Rotary membership sustainable. So we always have members, not just joining, but staying. But then what's the purpose of having members who join and stay if we only have a small percentage of those persons turning out to be leaders? And so as AGs, you have a huge responsibility to develop the leadership potential in your club. And it doesn't have to be on a mass scale at one time. You don't have, I'm not saying you need to have sessions with 15 members in your club, but if you identify someone maybe this quarter, and then you identify another one another quarter, or you can promote them by saying, you seem to be interested in Rotary Foundation. I'll speak to the district foundation chair and see if you can serve on the district foundation committee. So even though you yourself weren't necessarily the one conducting the mentorship, you have helped that person to get exposure and therefore develop their leadership skills as well. So that's something to pay attention to. It's not, there isn't an elite club of district leaders that just want to keep the district leadership to themselves, but they can't do it alone. And as AGs, you play a major role to ensure that we have a sustainable pool of district leaders to choose from. I'm not done yet. There's still more responsibilities to go. You have to coordinate and prepare your clubs for the district governor's visit. Now, the district governor's visit is one of the biggest highlights of your Rotary year. So you have to one, acknowledge that, be passionate about it, and pass that passion on to your club leadership and your membership to it, so that they're excited about the Digi visit too. And you don't just look like a crazy person there, like all excited over somebody coming, like it's your BFF and everybody's just like, why should we care? Your job is to ensure that your club leadership, and by extension, your club membership, understands the importance of the Digi visit and acts accordingly. So as you prepare and coordinate for this, it's ideal to create a Digi visit committee where you have members from multiple, from your clubs serving on this committee, so everybody gets to put an input. You prepare, that committee will help prepare the schedule, and of course you'll be consulting with the Digi during that time, as well as with their various boards to ensure that everybody's on board with the schedule. Now, and Digi Leslie and the PDGs on here can probably attest to this, ensure that the schedule isn't too hectic. Be mindful that the DGs are not superhumans, although they tend to act that way. They are human beings and they need rest. They need, I know sometimes it's a really short time and you want to just cram everything in there because you're excited to have the DG there and you need them, but the DGs are human beings. And they have to do this in every single country, and especially when they're touring, when they leave you and have to go somewhere else. And sometimes they're on a plane for a stretch of a month, 2 months before they even get a solid week at home. And that is taxing on anyone, much less a DG who is serving as DG while still having a full-time job, as well as other family responsibilities. So as AG, you have to be mindful of that. And I know clubs want to be excited and they want to say, well, Digi needs to come here and Digi needs to do this and Digi needs to do that. It's an ideal time to collaborate and have joint events to spare your Digi, because you want your Digi to live. You want your Digi to live past your visit. They need to get to conference. They need to get to the end of their year. They need to be PDGs so that they could come back and help us with stuff. We can't kill them on the one Digi visit. So please bear that in mind. Be mindful of travel times when you're scheduling and downtime in between activities. So if you have something 9 to 11 on one side of the island and it takes you a half an hour plus whatever for traffic, don't schedule something at 11. If you know you have to go to the other side of the island and then you're going to be late and then the DG is going to be stressed, and the stress will add to their overall tiredness. And again, the well-being of our DG is super important. As the assistant governor, that well-being is your responsibility during the governor's visit. So please bear that in mind. I cannot emphasize that enough. When you're splitting the duties between your clubs, you have to do so as equitably as possible. And notice I didn't say equally, I said equitably, because if you have an instance where your clubs are not on the same level, let's say you have a really, really strong club, and then you have a club that's intermediate or weaker, or you have a large club that has a lot of resources, human and financial, but then you have another club that's smaller and doesn't have access to as much financial resources or human, then you need to do the splitting of the duties equitably to ensure that the 4-way test is met and that it's fair to all concerned. When you're preparing your clubs for the district governor's visit, apart from just the schedule and the activities, you need to meet with your boards ahead of time and ensure that you review their club status, because that's the main thing for the board meetings that the DG is going to discuss. And one of the things that you need to ensure is that they have updated their Rotary Club Central, because that is where the DG gets their information from ahead of the visit, and they point it out, they print it out, and that's what they use. That's what they use to assess the club. So if they go on your Rotary Club Central and there's no information there, it's like coming into your board meeting blind, and it's less effective, because then, whereas they could have used the time ahead of the meeting to prepare certain messages to bring to you to assist you, or certain resources that from looking at your updates they could identify that you may need. They don't have that opportunity anymore because your Rotary Club Central data was not updated. So as AGs, you need to really ensure and work with your clubs to say so that they're ready, that their Rotary Club Central is updated, that how the presentation will be made, if the president is going to do it or if the board members are going to do it, and that everybody's on the same page, and that not when you're in the meeting with the DG that everybody's scrambling and you're trying to figure out who's supposed to say what, and you don't have access to information and you have to tell the DG, oh, we can send it to you another time. No, you want to have everything at hand, and as AG, you are responsible for ensuring that your clubs are ready. Lastly, lastly, under the district governor's visit, encourage your club leadership and membership to attend DG visit activities. After y'all schedule the people to death and they have flown for days to get to you, don't have them there for 5 people. Make sure that the club members come out in their numbers and show their appreciation for all of the, what's the best word to use here? All of the effort that the DG has made and put into coming to visit the clubs. So you have to show that level of appreciation to them. Lastly, under your roles, your responsibilities, you have to ensure a smooth transition to your successor. Please don't take this step for granted. Please, especially if you served for 3 years, your full maximum, or even 2, even 1. Do not just say, well, I'm done. The new person will figure it out. Even if your successor did not give you that successor meeting and help you, that does not mean you shouldn't do it. It is imperative that you prepare your successor for the role as best as you can, based on the information that you have. Also, don't take it for granted that if your successor is coming from your club, that you don't need to update them on that club because they're a club member. Remember that as AG, you'd be privy to information that, say, an ordinary club member and even a board member may not be privy to, because you may have had discussions privately with the presidents or the DG about the club. So you need to update your successor to ensure that the transition is smooth and seamless, and be available to your successor. Even if you've served the 3 years and you feel tired, you feel like I need a break, don't just abandon the ship. Yes, you're not captain anymore, but you could be first mate. I don't know if that makes sense because I don't have any sailing analogy. I don't know why I use that, but that's beside the point. The point is you have to help the person transition as best as possible. How you do that differs, and it depends on the people at hand. So it may just be a written report and you email it off. It may be catching up over coffee or drinks, depending again on the individuals. What is important is that you get it done. And just before we wrap up, I have 3 minutes. Let's just review about, we spoke a bit about the club visits. So just to give you a bit more background on how you can prepare for your club visits to make the best of them. You want to prepare an agenda and have some discussion points at least. So when you go in, you have a plan. You're not just going there and waffling around. And how you can come up with this, if it's your first time, you can look at and try and figure out where you want to start. So you want to start with what are your club's goals for the year, or if you want to talk about specific things that your successor has told you are trouble areas. So you want to start there first, or maybe you want to start with your strengths, but have discussion points or prepare an agenda. Share it with the clubs as well so that they can prepare for the meeting. This saves everybody time. So a meeting that could be 2 hours could turn out to be 45 minutes because everybody had the information ahead of time. They came prepared and the discussion flowed seamlessly. Review when you're doing your follow-up visits now after your initial one. Review your minutes or action items from your last visit or last communication, because you may not have visited, but you may have spoken to them via phone or text or whatnot. And with the club leadership, just to ensure that if there's anything between that gap that you needed to do or they needed to do, and then you can bring that up at the meeting to get an update. Go to My Rotary and check their Rotary Club Central. Check to ensure that they have updated. Or if they haven't, make a note to raise it with them. You can also use My Rotary to get the reports on the club trends. And this can help you in analyzing the club. If you trends as it relates to membership, their foundation giving, their service projects, their public image status. And these trends can also help you create agenda items and learn where the club may need your assistance and guidance as AG. Again, it helps to make the meeting more fruitful as opposed to just being in there all talking, which is fine if you want to all talk, but do that after you do the work. Do this part first and then all talk and have a drink. You want to, if there are clubs that put the effort into doing a club newsletter, it would be a good idea to read that. Or peruse it if you're not a reader. At least try and pick out the main things so that you can congratulate them, because that is also a way of support. You can let them know, wow, I saw your project, you helped 1,000 homeless persons with breakfast. That's amazing. And even that congratulatory remark can encourage them and help them to feel like, okay, we're on the right track. This is where we need to continue and keep that steam going. Check their social media platforms. Follow your clubs on social media. Even if you are not a social media person, follow your clubs. It's an easy way to keep up with what they're doing, because most clubs post, if not daily, they post multiple times per week. It may save you time as well. You see something, it can help you, again, identify areas where they need help. It can show you their strengths, so you know, okay, I don't need to go and give them any training or any updates on the foundation because they just had a foundation fundraiser, and from their social media, they raised well over their goal for Rotary Foundation. So, you know, when you go to your meeting with them, you don't have to discuss that. You've seen it. What you can do is take the opportunity again to congratulate them and encourage them to share their best practices and keep sharing so persons can know what they're doing and learn from them. Stay up to date with Rotary initiatives, policies, resources. Clubs look to the AGs, whether rightfully or not, as a source of knowledge on all things Rotary. You can't disappoint them. Please don't disappoint them. You have to live up to the expectation. So even if your Rotary knowledge isn't great now, this is something you have to work on. You don't have a choice. Well, you do have a choice, but I hope you choose to work on it, because when they come to you and they ask you a question and you're able to answer, and even if you can't answer, you say, give me a week and I'll get back to you, and you come back and you give them that support, that creates a bond with your club, with your club leadership, and then that also promotes a progressive club. It helps you, it helps them, everybody's happy because you found out what you needed to find out, and you have lived up to their expectation in their head. Think about you having an expectation of someone that they didn't meet. Think about how shattered you were. Think about how that demoralized you. Think about how that deterred you from, even if not completely or for a long period of time, but think about how that deterred you from even trying to go after your goals. So you don't want to be that for your clubs. You want to be a beacon, a source of information, a shining light, someone that they can go to and who they know, even if they don't know, they will find out. On that note, I again want to emphasize your importance as assistant governor. You are the connection between your clubs and the district. You are the connection between your clubs and the governor. Do not take that lightly. Thank you so much. As I said earlier, the presentation will be shared with you once we get the translated version done. So you'll have this that you can refer to, and you will also get a chance on Thursday to go over any areas that you may need further discussion or further ventilation when we will go into the discussion forum. Thank you for your time and attention. I'm so sorry that you had to hear me and see me for that long, but now you have the pleasure of hearing from your district governor-elect, Brian.
Thank you, Leah. And what will happen now, you'll get the abbreviated version of the district vision for the year. Now, one of the duties of a district governor is to set a vision for the district. And what I'd like to do for the next few minutes is discuss the major areas of focus that I would like you as assistant governors to think about and encourage your clubs to focus on during the upcoming year. So the first area is membership growth. Now, membership growth is the fuel that drives Rotary. Just as you need fuel to drive a vehicle or electricity to power a vehicle, you need membership growth to make Rotary work. Without membership growth, there would be no Rotary. Rotary would slowly die. So membership growth is a critical area that I would like you to encourage each of your clubs to look at. I'd like you to focus and ask your clubs to think about engagement, because you encourage membership retention by focusing on membership engagement. Don't just have people join clubs. When people join clubs, keep them engaged in Rotary activities so that they can continue to feel engaged with the club. And in the last few years, there's been a lot of discussion on DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. A number of clubs have had challenges with implementing certain aspects of DEI. We're not going to go into that now, but what I would like you to ask your clubs to do is to respect Rotary's position on DEI and use DEI opportunities as an instrument of facilitating growth. So there might be certain types of members you may not have considered in the past. There's nothing wrong in considering them now, because that is what Rotary is all about: expanding the reach of Rotary, expanding the reach of the membership of Rotary by encouraging diversity, equity, and inclusion in our membership. The next area of growth is encourage formation of innovative clubs. Again, during the next few training sessions, we will have deeper discussion on what innovative clubs are. But essentially, innovative clubs are clubs that have a special focus, a special reason for their existence. And there are already a few in the district, and we would like to continue to promote the growth of innovative clubs. Now, in terms of growth, so far for the year, the district has grown by just under 70 persons, just under 70 individuals. Between now and the end of June, we expect at least a net growth of an additional 80, which will or ought to give us a net growth of 150, which is about 7.5% growth, which is good actually. And we would like to keep that momentum going into the next Rotary year. I really don't like the position of suggesting or mandating to each club that they need to add X number of members to their clubs during the years. Growth, doing that is easy for some clubs, but it is challenging for other clubs. I think as assistant governors, what I would like to see you do is work with your individual clubs to identify growth opportunities and assist them in establishing whatever their growth targets are. And, you know, as Leah mentioned, your club's goals need to be established and documented. And when they're documented, they're available to district officers and assistant governors. And you as assistant governors need to ensure and help your clubs to attain these targets. What I would like to suggest, though, is if any of the clubs under your area is looking at a growth of less than 5% per annum, that I think would be below what the expectations should be. And I would encourage you to work with any clubs, pay special attention to any clubs that have projected growth rates of less than 5%. Now, a key aspect of Rotary is continuity. And continuity is just what it says it is, continuing from one period to another. We have just come through we've come through an excellent period of growth with our past district governors, a number of whom are on this session with us. And we are going through an excellent year with District Governor Leslie, sorry. Lyle, you sort of stood out on my screen. But we are going through an excellent year of Rotary development with District Governor Leslie. we would like to see continuity. And the areas of continuity that we need to focus on. Firstly, we need to renew our focus on eradicating polio. This is Rotary's biggest achievement. If you ask anyone in the outside world, what do they consider to be Rotary's most significant achievement? Those who know will tell you it is the fight in eliminating polio throughout the world. And we are this close to eliminating polio, but it is not eliminated yet. And we need to make that final effort. One of the challenges we have is that a lot of, especially our younger Rotary members, were not around when Rotary ravaged our region. So they don't really have an appreciation for what polio can do to the communities. So as part of our efforts in promoting the eradication of polio, we need to educate our younger Rotarians especially, what polio is capable of doing. Continuity, we'd also like to see continuity in the area of support for the foundation. The foundation is the heartbeat of Rotary. It is what keeps Rotary going. And we need to ensure that donations to the Rotary Foundation continue. And in that regard, the foundation chair will be a key person in the district. And as assistant governors, we would like to see you support the efforts of the foundation chair and the district in ensuring that our donations to the Rotary Foundation meet expectations. Continuing with our efforts on continuity, empowering women has been a very successful theme, first introduced as a major focus by past international president Shaker, and continued by Jennifer Jones, and continued again by the incoming president, Gordon McInally. And as a district, I think it's incumbent on us to support the efforts of Rotary International in empowering women, empowering girls. And of course, one of our district's signature projects, our major success story in the district, has been our efforts at combating childhood obesity, led by Virginia, who has done a remarkable job. And again, as assistant governors, we really would like to encourage each of you to support Virginia and her ongoing efforts as a regional effort, as a district effort, to continue our battle against childhood obesity. Now, the background that I'm using is actually the theme for the incoming Rotary year, Create Hope in the World. And that is the theme chosen and selected by incoming President Gordon McInally. And he has asked all Rotarians to continue to create hope in the world by promoting peace. Unfortunately, DGN, Debbie, had to leave. It's her birthday today, and she has to celebrate it, so she couldn't stay with us. But as you all know, Debbie has done such a remarkable job with her Peace Committee, and she will be continuing, even in her year as District Governor-elect, to lead the Peace Committee. And we need to support Debbie's efforts and the district's efforts in promoting peace and in helping incoming President Gordon to achieve his hope for Rotary, create hope in the world. In fact, all of our projects really contribute to incoming President's theme, because all of our projects do, one way or the other, assist in creating hope in the world. And finally, I would like to talk about another of incoming President Gordon's initiatives. And coincidentally, it was an initiative that we had already chosen for this district. And it was great that it was also adopted as the international focus for health efforts this year, and that is promoting mental health wellness. Mental health tends to be a taboo subject. You know, people will speak about their physical issues, but nobody wants to talk about their mental health issues. And as incoming President Gordon says, the impact of COVID brought a lot of mental health issues to the forefront. President Gordon himself has been personally touched by mental health issues. Some of you may know that his brother, Ian, suffered from depression for many years and never dealt with it because he didn't bring it out into the open. He tried to deal with it quietly because it was a taboo subject. And as incoming President Gordon told us when we met with him earlier this year, while he was away on a business trip, he committed suicide, his younger brother. So it is something very personal to him. And I'm sure mental health in one way or another is personal to each of us. Many of us have issues with depression. Many of us have stress-related issues, whether they're from financial challenges, health-related issues, or relationship issues. And if we don't have them personally, we know somebody who has mental health issues in these areas. So I will ask each of you AGs to implore your clubs, ask your clubs to get involved in at least one project, at least one initiative to assist in the fight against mental illness and the promotion of mental wellness. So, in a nutshell, these are the subjects that I would like us as a team, as the incoming team, to focus on and to encourage our respective clubs to promote among their various initiatives for the upcoming year. It might sound like a lot of projects, a lot of things to do, but at the end of the day, it's really only one item that we are talking about. We only have one mission as Rotarians, and that mission is service. That's why we are all here. That's why you've all agreed to become AGs. That's why I'm incoming district governor. That's why Soraya is district governor nominee. We all have a common interest in service. At the same time, it's important that while we carry out our service, we keep the fun and the fellowship in Rotary. So I really do look forward to working with each of you during the next, well, the year hasn't started yet, but it starts on the 1st of July. And I really do look forward to working with each of you to keep the momentum going. Appreciate the pace that has been set by the predecessors, Lyle, Sonia, Leslie. I don't know where you get the energy from, but you know, you guys have set the bar very high for us, but we are a team and we are going to make this work. So thanks again for joining the team, and I look forward to a wonderful year of service with each of you. So thanks, and back to you, Leah.
Thanks so much, DGE Brian. You were under time again. I love that. I did take up some of your time, so I anticipated that we'd go over by a few minutes, but I think we will be on time and wrapping up. Just a few announcements before we end. Our next session is this Thursday, and it starts at 6 p.m., runs to 8 p.m. This is our discussion forum. We will be having a Q&A session on the roles and responsibilities of the assistant governor. So bring your questions, bring your comments. We will also be doing an overview on the planning guide, which is a great tool that you can use when you meet with your club president-elects and secretary-elects to help them with the planning of the upcoming Rotary year. So please see you all on, well, you're not leaving yet, but please come on Thursday, 6 to 8 p.m. for our discussion forum. Next week, we begin our first session of PETS next Tuesday, and that will be the full complement of participants with our PEs and SEs. Our topics, we have 2 topics next Tuesday. That would be club budgeting and service projects, specifically how to prepare a community needs assessment. We are asking you to remind, encourage, and bring your PEs and SEs to next week's session. You will also be introduced properly to the district training team, the committee, as well as DGE Brian and District Secretary-elect Annette, who's on tonight. We didn't hear from her, but she has been here with us, and she will be your district secretary for the upcoming year, so you'll hear more from her as PETS progresses. So next week, we'll have our proper introductions of everyone for you. Again, encourage them to come out. Encourage them to come out next week, and encourage those of your clubs who have not yet updated their club officer information on My Rotary to do so soonest. And there's still some clubs who have not yet registered for PETS. Please encourage them to register and attend. We now go back to DGE Brian who will give us closing remarks as we wrap up.
Okay, Leah, I just noticed there are actually a couple AGEs who were not present at the beginning for the icebreakers. I don't know if you want to give them a minute or two to introduce themselves. I see Julian and Brian, and I'm not sure who else is on.
Sure, that's an excellent idea. Julian, for our icebreaker, we just gave our name, our country, our club, and we indicated our reason for accepting the role of AG or accepting to continue in the role of AG.
I just want to make sure I heard it fully.
Name, your country, your club, and why you accepted the role of AG.
All right, so Julian Skeet, Trinidad and Tobago, more specifically the island of Tobago, based on the island of Tobago, and I've been serving in Rotary for a number of years, coming through Rotaract, etc. So for me, continued service is something I've always seen myself involved in. And I think naturally in the progression of the Rotary family, Rotary was the next area to get involved in. So I see an avenue to continue providing service and connecting with like-minded persons on an international level.
Great, thanks so much, Julian. Brian?
Yeah, Brian Ramatali, Rotary Club of San Fernando South. For the South clusters, I've been in Rotary 29 years around that, and I've enjoyed this journey tremendously. So it's all about giving back and supporting clubs and new members, focusing on membership development and developing resiliency and competencies in our cluster. So thank you for having me, and I appreciate this session tonight.
Thanks so much, Brian. Did we capture everyone? I think everyone else spoke. So Digi, back to you for the closing.
Okay, thanks, Leah. And my apologies to Annette for not introducing her. I slipped my mind, Annette. It wasn't deliberate, I'm sorry. But Annette is the incoming district secretary from St. Vincent, formerly from Antigua. So I think I've said it all. I've already thanked everyone. So I think we will be, over the next few weeks, really getting to know each other, really getting to find out a lot about each other. Once again, this is about service. This is a bit of a sacrifice, but at the end of the day, it's about enjoying ourselves while providing service. Hope to see all of you in Grenada in April, and then we can really sit down and enjoy ourselves like Rotarians do. Leah says she is, even though we are going to end the meeting now, which I think she's going to leave it open for a little while in case anybody wants to have any informal discussions. Are you still able to do that, Leah?
Yes, we can. We can. I mean, it's up to them. The meeting is officially over. We promised you an end time of 7:30, and it is 7:30 on the dot. You are welcome. But that just means you have a little extra time to hang out with us and chit chat and catch up. We haven't seen some of you for a while.
So anyone who wants can stay on, but the meeting is officially
but if you have
over.
to leave, we understand.
And Leah, thanks to you and your team for this. This is a lot of work. So I really do appreciate everything that you and the team are doing to make this happen for Rotary.
On behalf of the team, thank you so much for acknowledging that. They are working hard. They are committed and dedicated. Most of them are here tonight. But again, you'll meet them officially next week, Tuesday. And thanks to all the PDGs who came out. And we look forward to seeing you again on Thursday in our discussion forum to answer any hard questions that may stump us.